In a world on the brink of chaos, a single nation's fight for survival ignites a battle that echoes across continents.
Just 12 days. I mean, that's all it took for the war between Iran and the US-Israeli alliance to completely spiral out into this massive global crisis. So today, we're going to break down exactly how we got here.
Yeah, what began as a conflict in, one corner of the Middle East, it's now having repercussions pretty much everywhere. It's disrupting global trade, it's shaking up old alliances, it's gone global. And right in the middle of all this chaos, the US president has made his position crystal clear. He says America is there to finish the job. So, any talk of an early exit? That's just off the table. Okay, but that just begs the biggest question, right? As this war keeps expanding and the tactics get, well, a lot messier, what does finishing the job actually mean? What does it even look like on the ground?
All right, let's start with this whole global shockwave really began. We're talking about the battle for one single, incredibly vital waterway.
The Strait of Hormuz, it's basically turned into a combat zone. We're seeing commercial ships being directly targeted, and it's paralyzing traffic through this critical choke point. And look, Iran isn't even hiding its involvement. They've claimed responsibility for at least one of these attacks, and they're flat out warning all ships to stay away.
And you have to understand, this isn't just any waterway. We're talking about a staggering 20%, 1/5 of the entire world's oil supply passing through this one narrow channel. So yeah, an attack here, it's not a regional problem. It's an immediate, massive shock to the global economy.
The world's response has been, drastic. To stop energy prices from skyrocketing and causing an economic meltdown, the International Energy Agency just greenlit the largest release of strategic oil reserves in its entire history. We're talking 400 million barrels. I mean, that number alone tells you just how serious this situation is. And the US is hitting back hard. Central Command is reporting that they've taken out 16 of Iran's mine-laying ships. This is a direct military strike, and the goal is twofold: reopen those shipping lanes and hopefully cripple Iran's ability to cause more chaos at sea.
But this fight isn't just happening at sea, not anymore. The front lines are expanding, on land, in the air, and it's pulling the entire region deeper into the fire.
And this has also become a war of information, a war of narratives. On one side, you have the US claiming that Iran's navy is, quote, at the bottom of the sea after hitting over 5,500 targets. But on the other side, Iran is calling this its most intense operation of the war, vowing that the attacks will continue, and even announcing a joint operation with Hezbollah.
This conflict is just spilling over borders at a terrifying pace. You've got Israel launching powerful new strikes on Beirut and across Lebanon. And at the exact same time, Iran and its proxies are firing off missiles and drones at a whole range of targets, hitting Israel, Qatar, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Bahrain. I mean, the entire region is just a tinderbox right now.
So, we can talk about the strategy and the geopolitics, but we have to talk about the devastating human toll this is taking.
The numbers are just stark. We're hearing reports of over 1,300 people killed inside Iran, over 600 in Lebanon from the Israeli strikes. And these aren't just statistics on a chart. This is a map of immense, immense human loss.
And it's not just the death toll. This war is creating a massive refugee crisis. Think about this. In Lebanon alone, those intense Israeli airstrikes have forced more than 800,000 people to just pack up and flee their homes.
And behind every single one of those numbers is a human story. We received this message from a young person inside Iran, and it just perfectly captures the despair people are feeling. It's a really powerful reminder of who pays the actual price of war, the people who are far, far away from any command center.
So, the big question is, where does all this end? To even begin to figure that out, we've got to look at the high-level strategy, at the endgame. Okay, so there are diplomatic moves happening, but let's be clear, they're not really leading to peace. The UN Security Council condemned Iran's attacks, but Russia and China just abstained. They sat it out. Meanwhile, Iran put out a list of its conditions to end the war. And the G7, they're talking about maybe escorting commercial ships. That's not a solution, right? That's crisis management.
And then there's the money, the price tag. The Pentagon estimates that just the first 6 days of this war cost $11.3 billion. And that's mostly just for replacing the bombs and missiles that were used.
that number, you can bet, is climbing really, really fast. This all brings us to the absolute core of Iran's strategy here. It's called asymmetric warfare. See, they know they can't win a straight-up head-to-head fight against the US military. So what's the plan? You spread the conflict out. You use proxies. You hit unexpected targets. You create chaos. The goal isn't to defeat a superpower, it's to make the war so painful, so costly, so unbearable that the superpower eventually just gives up and goes home. Because for a regime like the one in Iran, simply surviving, that's victory.
And that leaves us with one final, really difficult question, because this has become a war of attrition, a war of endurance. So who can take more pain? Is it the military superpower facing these staggering financial costs and growing global pressure? Or is it the regime that is literally fighting for its own survival? That's the dangerous, unpredictable equation that's going to define everything that happens next.